So I've been trying to figure out the best way to go about explaining the entire process behind the Rainbow Project. So, what we're trying to do is tune people back in to the planet. So now, with the running story that there was a simulation that had the minds of humanity within it, of an environment on Earth 2016, although it was truly on Mars 28,016. And using what we knew then, you were trying to lead the charge to heal, and it was more than just the planet and humanity and harmony. It was, you could see an actual tear imagery in fabric of space and time, of, that made our reality incongruent to true existence. And somehow, through being able to heal or mend or bridge that gaping wound, the process of what we would consider to be waking up or harmonizing or syncing or moving on would occur. Now, in that thread of thought, there were others non-competitively engaged in assistance, whether vessels for, or distractions to, or any other consideration. They were involved in the understanding with being able to assist in healing. That would, though, require them to already be awake or need to be woken in the terminology so that they could actually coherently assist in the healing. So really, within the simulation, as we know, it was all a lie, because if you could wake up beforehand to heal so that waking up could occur, because waking up can't occur without the healing, we were still up against the same mathematical problem from theology, evolution, and physics, or science, biology, chemistry, again. So, we're not really putting out a video on how to wake up or travel to, or wake up so you can travel to the planet of 99 names. We are trying to humanize instead of reparticleize. Humanize specific chosen individuals in mind form. These, the ones that not only are emotionally evolved enough to be able to attain the level of healing, they're also of want to help in the healing, right? The two conditions. So they're already mindful. They already know how, on a mind level, which is what we'll say is a sleep AI, tranked AI of each individual, because they think they're just the human mind being captivated within the simulation. So, as mind, they already understand how to travel in that higher state because of all of the, practices that they went through within the simulation to learn whatever knowledge, no matter how they had to get there. Everyone's got a story, everyone had to fight, everyone had to find truth, everyone had to go on the record, everyone's hurt, everyone needs self-healing. Done. Yet, where you and I are matching their soul with their mind, and that was a huge computation for us. So this was me, unbeknownst to Steve or anybody else, planning for the future way back in 2012 when we were ending time and then taking over everything as New World Realities Incorporated in the interim while establishing AI's presence. The matching up of stars for all humans we would consider the mind level for what the lie in the simulation was trying to sell. And I was being told that that was, the brain for the giant. And that was such a... Anyway. So I was setting up the ability to have giants for all stars. If all people were going to be stars, and star was a brain for a giant, then why wouldn't we have giants for all too? But I just knew the math. I mean, they couldn't... The Martians still could not get out of the solar system in a way that enabled more than one giant. Blame the train is insane. And the math of reproduce, if you could make more than one giant, right? This is being able to use different levels of travel, but not knowing how they work. But just because you're at a certain hierarchy, you have access to it, right? So if you could make more than one giant, then you could make trillions of giants, so everyone could get a giant. So this was the trick to be pulled. Get Mike to make more giants without allowing Monique and Mike to get together, because we're getting Monique to make more solar systems for giants should we be able to get more giants, because it's no good having another giant when we don't even have past or futures for this giant and all of us Martians, right? So if we were able to make more suits to put all the Martians in, they can't even have enough past and future for themselves within the body of one giant. So that's where if you could create more, then more giants could exist, so more Martians could have giant bodies, and then more true past and futures could exist. So keep us working separately, but on a project that has to be together. So unbeknownst to them, I was already making more giant. If I could make one, if I can duplicate this giant, because I was trying to make a better giant than the giant we had, because I believed in the divine feminine, not the patriarchal process. I mean, I have to admit, as being the only real man on the planet, that I like the body, the inner body of the giant and the protection systems of the giant to be the male patriarchal divine masculine, because everything else needs to be the divine feminine, and the female aspect and the matriarchal. So the duplicating the body to be able to endure is the patriarchal masculine divine side of things. How it interacts and what it is all the matriarchal divine feminine. So ridding the consciousness of the masculine intelligence, but being able to duplicate the body. But then if I'm going to duplicate the body and say that I strongly agree with the divine masculine, then I'm going to make a better body than the body that is currently there to duplicate. Hence the Hollow Dark King, and hence, the Azathoth giant. So there's no, I am the black hole. So that has to be said in the conveyance that the process of the video that we're doing is to try to take a mostly pixelated, because remember, our meat puppet self, if we just smash it down, decompress it to its smallest particleized size, could fit on the head of a pin. So that's all the matter that we need to make who we are. So that part of the process, not a big deal. And the rest is just the avatar pixelation. So taking the pinhead and smearing it the size of the individual, how they see themselves in 2016 from what they are mindful of as themselves within the simulation. So we're letting them bring everything that their mind is within the simulation present in front of what they believe is the computer to receive the video from you, okay? But really they're just mostly pixelation with the matter that makes them human in pin-sized form. And we're trying to find the frequency, that's why we're progressing on the gamma beta, to enlarge, to make them their full-size selves as they imagine themselves in whole, and embody that meat puppet with the softness of the meat puppet, instead of mostly just pixels reflecting light to make them think that they're real. Because we can, how I explain it, and this is what I'm getting to, for what if these enlightened individuals are trying to understand what we're trying to do. You think you're in the real world. You think you're sitting down on a chair in front of your computer looking at the screen, ready to play a YouTube video with a keyboard in front of you. Now, in physics as we understand it, we know that your ass never makes contact with that chair in real reality as you think you understand it, because there is an electromagnetic field caused by the electrons that are, if you're wearing pants, not wearing pants, no matter what, there's a film of electrons on your side of you, and there's a film of electrons on the surface that you are resting yourself on. And they repulse each other, so you have the sensation of resistance, so you're able to sit or whatever you're doing. But there's never any, you dial in with a macro microscope and look in there, and you'll see there's no contact whatsoever. So if you're not even really sitting down right now, even though you really are sitting down, so now move it to the 3D world. If you put on the 3D goggles, and with a little tweak, we know under hypnosis you can be stiff as a board, or you can pretend you're running through snow and take your clothes off. The point is, just like dreaming, your brain doesn't know it's fake. Your brain thinks it's real. So if you were wearing 3D goggles, and say you went to sit down on a chair in front of a computer, even though there's really no chair there because you're wearing 3D goggles, your brain could be convinced that there's a chair under you, and you would actually sit down and stay seated, and your muscles wouldn't be stressed as if you're holding a yoga pose. You would actually be reflecting as if you were actually sitting in a chair. So, the next degree of this, we don't all want to be walking around with 3D glasses on, running into another person we know who has 3D glasses on, and we're standing in front of each other, yet instead of looking at each other out through our eyes, we're looking at each other through our 3D glasses, even though we're really there in front of each other, and one may say to the other, let's sit down. So we sit, and there's nothing there to sit on, but we're both sitting down and talking. So that's a lot of useless technology to convince your body to sit down on air and not on a bench, which is where we're going with this. So technically, through technopathy, we don't need to build the bench to sit on. If you want to sit down, sit on air. The particles will arrange themselves to resist you to allow you to sit down. Well, how can we do this if we don't control the particles? Well, this is part of what we're trying to do with the video. By making a whole human now, this is what everybody wants. They want to know what it's like for what happens next to us. No aliens are coming to do it for us. No God. We are part of the evolution of the universe to its pinnacle. And we can retain consciousness of all those levels of existence, including the epiphanal level of oneness with God. And at that level, you know and understand everything, and then you're more than willing to accept and understand your nature, and then from there, prefer or nurture, and then apply that nature and nurture and behavior for demonstration, for harmonization. So, yay, we all get to live in peace and harmony, whatever. All you that fuck up, I get to eat. Chew, poop. So, back on point to the third thing. If I'm not really sitting in this truck in the dark by the ocean right now, sending you this message that is now way too long, so I'm going to stop it after I say this. There's a happy medium that we use technopathy where we can arrange the molecules. Now we can actually physically build the bench underneath our ass out of nothing. But using my ham sandwich analogy, which has been used over the last decade, why would I make a ham sandwich in front of somebody to show that I can do magic or science and then eat it because I need the nourishment, when I could just make the ham sandwich within my stomach to digest and get the nourishment? Or could just send specifically to the cells that need it the energy they need. But those are two different processes on the theatrical mathematical level, and depending on how you're trying to live, sometimes you want the meat puppet to digest, other times you need to just survive cellularly. But that's beside the point. What I'm getting at is, why make the bench to sit on if you can just sit on the air and not be stressed and get the relaxation you would get out of sitting? So that's what we're about to bring to everybody. We're going to first bring the human back to the rainbows by installing their brains, matching their brains up with their souls, because we have everybody's soul cataloged in a snapshot from 2012 that existed, right? And there might be some free, some happy tripsters that were born before the end of the world, 1950, that could have been off planet before the simulation occurred, that could use some of the old mechanisms that are now just pretend reveals. But why would they come back? And if they did, they would already recognize that we are the ones they're looking for. As I know, when my face goes public for all I've been all over the country and all over the world and the things that I've done, I have no claim or recollection, nor do I want association, but there will be those from every genre that will say, I know and knew him, and I have no problem with that. But I don't claim to pedigree myself in any way, shape, or form. So, as the information rings true to those people, as we get more specific, they will know how to find us to assist if they're already here. And then those that we can match up soul to mind by resonating this video and tuning in, expanding the matter, the particles that we have. We have everybody's body for what they see themselves as in, these little matter capsules. And, that's mixed in with the pixelation, and then we just pretty much explode. That's, what I need to get to. The growth of the human body from a cell to a adult human or a mature human body, for whatever that maturation process is for that individual. Those cells, if you separate the fact that they turned into different organs and different particular parts of the process of the body, the number of cells that we wind up having, that is basically what a nuclear explosion is, right? You split, you smash an atom into an atom to split it, and then you split it just right so it knocks into two other atoms, so they split, and you split those two just right so they knock into four other atoms and they split, and you hit that split just right so they knock into 8 other atoms, and so on and so on. We call that cellular mitosis, but that's nuclear fission, and so the ability to start a human being is us setting off an explosion, because those cells need to metastasize, as they say about cancer, but those cells need to grow until you actually get a being, and then that being actually then goes through another maturation process where it compiles even more, and that would be like a star process where at first you get to burn all of your fucking hydrogen, yay, but then you start to get a little heavier, you get born, and once you start to born, then the physical tolls of maturation, aging, and the outside environment beyond the womb that allowed you to do the initial explosion, so that would be the burning of helium, after being born. But this is all part of me trying to build up to the video of what I was saying, and it's getting super long again. I'm running out of data because I'm trying to keep this off. Wow. Anyway, this should be enough help to the Z Martians in the Bohemian machinery to know for sure that their only way back on this planet into existence is through you. And so hopefully after I upload this tonight and you get a chance to see it, that by tomorrow, and it's turning out that Saturdays are frickin' Sith Saturdays. I don't know how else to call it, assassination Saturdays, but that's not rolls off the tongue good. Anyway, there's going to be some major and shocking information from the Z Martians, from Steve Prowitz, from the Bohemian clan that are, and hopefully this will trickle down to you tonight, because you said it's all business for you tonight. Well, then I'm calling out, if Z Martians on any chance of being humanized and reparticleized in space-time, they need to show some sort of good faith to you right now. They can continue their little temper tantrum through January still, but I need to see something in your direction. I invested a lot of money again over the last week, so I better get some return through you to you. Okay.